Hello and welcome to Whistler Olympic Park. My name is Clay Whitman, and in this video I'm going to take you on a tour of our 2-kilometer summer biathlon course. The course begins at the exit to the biathlon range. We're going to go past the penalty loop on our left, take a right-hand turn around the tunnel, and stay left and leave the biathlon stadium to the left. For those of you familiar with our winter trails, you'll notice we're heading the opposite way out of the stadium onto a different trail. As we pass the wax cabins, we're going to head to our first downhill section. We enter a downhill that's straight with a bend to the right at the end. Here we turn a little bit to the right onto the Nordic Combined Trail. This section of the trail is a rolling up and down section, heading straight out alongside the road to the biathlon stadium on the right and the Neverland Trail, which will be to our left. Here we reach the end of the up and down rolling section, and we're about to head into our first uphill section. We climb up to the end of the Nordic Combined Trail with the road on our right and the return trail onto our left. We're going to climb up here and then make a 180-degree turn to the left and come back down the hill. Coming up to the top of the first hill here, we make our 180-degree turn to the left, and we're going to head down our second downhill section. This is a little bit of a steeper section. Again, it's going to head down with a bend to the right. Picking up speed, we make our turn to the right, and then we turn back a little bit to the left, going through a little bit of a chicane section here, which switches us from the Nordic Combined Trail onto the Neverland Trail. Now we come to our second uphill section on the course. We're going to climb up a little bit before bending to the right and approaching a junction between the cross-country stadium and heading back to the biathlon trails. This is the junction between our 2-kilometer and our 3-kilometer courses. As we come to the top of the hill here, you'll see to the right the bridge over a creek and into cross-country stadium. Because we're going to do the 2-kilometer course today, we're going to stick to the left, staying on the Neverland Trail as we head back up a little bit of a hill and climb back up to the biathlon stadium. As we come to the top of that hill, we're going to enter another little rolling up and down section of the course, heading towards the Olympic cross-country trails. On your right, you'll see some of the trails from Olympic cross-country and an old camera placement from the Olympics. Bending to the left and heading back towards the biathlon stadium, we come to our last little downhill section before we climb up back to the stadium and come out at the penalty loop. And here we are arriving back in the biathlon stadium. As we climb back up to the level of the stadium, we're going to enter the penalty loop and take a half tour of the loop to join back up with the course. Coming around and exiting the penalty loop, we'll come to a junction between the range and the finish. On this lap, we're going to go to the range, so as we come around the tunnel here, we're going to keep to the right and head to the range this way. Now we're in the stadium. We have the biathlon building to our left, along with where the stands were from the Olympics. To our right, the Olympic rings and our biathlon range. And we're just going to come to the end of this white fence and then do a 180-degree turn to the right into the range for our shooting bouts. Swinging into the range, we come through to our shooting mats. On the right, there's some clubs training. On the left, the Olympic Park's public shooting programs. And as we exit the range, the penalty loop is to our left. Now, if we were going to head to the finish, as we come around the tunnel, we're going to stick to the left. And then our finish is just past the biathlon building and timing office here on the right. We come across the finish in front of where the grandstands were. And that's our 2-kilometer course.